And joining us now is a former IDF paratrooper and reservist who is known as Shahar. We're just going to use his first name for security reasons, and there he is. Shahar, welcome to Newsmax and Newsmax 2.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So you were there reacting to the October 7th terror attacks. What did you see that we need to know about?
I think some of you saw it on social media. We have seen a terror organization that wanted to kill as many people as they could in the least amount of time, and not just kill, but massacre in the most horrible way, mutilate bodies, rape women, behead babies, burn them alive in the thousands, over 1,200 people in a few hours. And we've seen it in real time, things that we can't really unsee, smells we can't unsmell. You know, it was a long time ago. It feels like a lifetime ago. It was 3.5 months ago. And ever since so much has happened, we've been to Gaza. We're fighting the fight of our lives to get our people back and ensure this never happens again.
The fight of our lives. You've described it as a horror movie, what you saw. You were helping as a first responder as part of the Israeli Defense Forces in order to save lives?
Yes, we were deployed on October 7th to the towns outside the Gaza border. We fought and we brought the safety back to Israel. And then when we learned the atrocities and the numbers, we got ready to get into Gaza to bring the safety back. And we've been there ever since. I'm going back in a few days. I've been here to talk to people who needed to hear in America, media, and people who are not sure who to support, that what they see on the media and social media is 100% false. Because what I see in Gaza and the way that we engage in this war, I could not have been more proud to be a part of the IDF. We do more than any other military in the history to protect the civilian population on the other side. And my friends died because of it. But I'm proud of the IDF Code of Conduct and the IDF values that will ensure that we win and keep our morality, which is just as important.
Now, you lost a family member?
Yes, on October 7th, a family member of mine was at the Nova Festival. He went to a peace festival to dance and love, and he was murdered while trying to help a woman that got shot. Alongside with him, over 360 beautiful men and women who just went to dance.
I'm so sorry for your loss. Obviously, you're the grandchild of Holocaust survivors as well. So when you say this is the fight of our lives, that has deeper meaning. And what do you think that everybody watching this needs to know about this moment in history?
Yeah, I'm a grandson of Holocaust survivors. My dad fought in the Yom Kippur War. We know that this is our generation's fight. Last time we didn't have the IDF to protect us. Last time we didn't have Israel. 6 million of our people died. But I think what people need to know is that if there's one thing we learned from October 7th is that we need to believe our enemies when they tell us what they plan to do. And I fear that Western civilization is blinded to reality, because Western civilization needs to know that their goal is not just Israel and Jews. It's not Judaism versus jihadism. It's Western civilization versus those who seek to destroy it. And Israel and Hamas are just a small part of it. And we're just blinded. All we have to do is listen to what these radical jihadis tell us, not just Hamas, but Iran and the Houthis and Hezbollah and Al-Qaeda and ISIS. They want to destroy Western civilization and build a great Islamic State on top of it. And we're just too blinded to the Middle East to understand that this could happen here. And I hope people will wake up before there is another 9/11. And Israel is to be blamed for two things. We're Jewish and we're in the Middle East.
So when you say we should believe our enemies and these militants and what they say, what's your message then to some of the Democratic politicians here in America, where you are now? I know you're headed back to Israel shortly to fight again. Some of these politicians want a ceasefire. They keep pressuring Prime Minister Netanyahu in Israel and saying, pull back. And you have people around the world trying to bring you before the International Criminal Court and say that Israel is guilty of war crimes. What's your message to the people who push that line?
People who say that Israel is to be blamed for war crimes, they're just lying or they're just ignorant. Because if you actually know warfare, if you listen even to the UN, that the average number of casualties between combatants and civilians in urban warfare, the average is 1 to 9, including the US war with the Taliban. In Gaza, even if we do believe Hamas-ruled Ministry of Health, which we don't, but let's be conservative and listen to them and believe them, it's 1 to 1.5. It's over 6 times better. And what I want to tell them is that, you know, Would you be okay that post 9/11, Al-Qaeda would be across the Hudson here in America telling you they're not going to stop until they kill you all? Would you be okay going to sleep not knowing when someone who is literally a mile away from you will break into your door and kill or kidnap your whole family? You would not be okay. Well, neither are we. And if you tell us to cease fire without getting our people back and without ensuring that this will never happen again, you're just a hypocrite. Because if this had happened in America, you would have expected your government to do whatever they need to ensure your safety. This is what we expect of ours.
So you mentioned Iran a moment ago as well, and the Houthi rebels and Hamas, which was responsible for October 7th. These are all Iran proxies, Iran-backed militias. And the American President Joe Biden said today that he's decided about his response to Iran after 3 of our soldiers in America were killed while sleeping in Jordan. He said he knows what his response is. He's not going to say it yet, but that he doesn't want war with Iran, which seems curious to immediately say that when it appears that Iran wants war with the U.S. Iran maybe wants war with Israel. What's your message to Joe Biden tonight in terms of reacting to Iran?
You know, I'm giving a message to Joe Biden is not of my level, but I can say that we know that Iran is the head of the snake. You know that this is the single source of terrorism and evil in the world. And we need to stop playing with its proxies. Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, Qatar, they are all coming from Iran. And they need to be held accountable. They need to pay for all the evil that they bring to this world, for all the terrorism. And if you in America think that it's not coming here, it is already here. They have infiltrated everything that is good in this country. Our education system, some of it was purchased by Qatar and Iran. Your political system, your social media, our kids are being brainwashed there. People need to wake up before it's too late.
Absolutely, before it's too late. Before the October 7th terror attack, though, when you say we need to be tough with Iran, Joe Biden and the American administration, relieved them of some of the sanctions that had been put in place during the Trump administration. That freed up about $6 billion for Iran, which critics say is now freed up to give to those proxies you talked about, Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthi rebels, to spread terror around the world. Do you think it's time that we put those sanctions back in place?
I think that Iran needs to be sanctioned. I think that their nuclear cannot be alive. There's no other nuclear country that says they want to destroy another one. Their oil fields and source of income need to be attacked because they use it to create horror in this world. And it's time for us to really understand that Israel is just the easier one because we're in the Middle East, we're the first ones, and we're Jewish. It's very easy to condemn us. But they just want to destroy Western civilization. It's coming from Iran, and I hope that people will wake up. I believe that politically correctness is important. But the DEI culture, the woke culture, when you take them to extreme, it becomes dangerous. The Jews are strong, but we're also a minority. And we're not a minority that tries to destroy the world, but there are minorities that this is their goal. It's a radical jihadi, radical Islamic ideology that wants to kill all of us. And if they had been outside of Gaza on October 7th, they as well would have been beheaded and killed and kidnapped, because they're not just coming after the Jews, they're coming after the infidels, the Christians as well, the Hindus, the Catholic, not just the Jews. But it's brilliant of the other side, these jihadis, to start with the Jews, because they get the support of so many people who just don't understand that this is their fight as well.
So to wrap the conversation, you mentioned DEI and diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we've seen this play out on college campuses in America and around the world. You're here in New York before heading back to Israel. I understand you've been talking to a lot of people, telling your story so they'll know the truth of what's happening in Israel, which is why we appreciate your time tonight. What do you think about what you've seen as a young person? I believe you're about 30. Some of your fellow young people here in America, around the world, who have been promoting anti-Semitism, who have been under the cloak of DEI, basically calling for genocide against Jews.
The 19, 20, 21-year-olds Israelis are fighting the most horror terrorists in history. Well, so many of their colleagues in America, of their peers, condemn them for something they don't understand. When they go to the pro-Hamas rallies, they don't understand they support terrorism. And they don't understand if they actually cared for the Palestinian people, they wouldn't move to support Israel, because we are the only one who can eliminate Hamas.
From a very courageous young man, Shahar, we appreciate your time tonight. We appreciate your service. And we wish you well as you travel back to Israel, sir. Thank you.